Assalamu alaikum. We are here with another episode of Islamic terminology. Today we're going to discuss the terminology of life and death in Islam. I hope you like it. Okay? We start today with the word حياة. حياة. حياة means life. And this حياة starts from the day we're born to the day we die. And then we have another word. It's called Dunya or Addunya. And to understand this word, we have to merge it with the word حياة to get the complete meaning of the two words, because sometimes these two words are used interchangeably, but when we put them together, you realize the real meaning of them. Addunya, it means what we live in. What we live in is called Addunya. And this word dunya is coming in the Arabic root daniya or dana, both, because it could have two meanings. If it's coming from dana, to be near, so dunya means near. And it's coming from daniya, it means the lower, the less valuable. So ad-dunya in Arabic, according to the Islamic terminology, is the opposite or the other way of the hereafter. Hereafter is the best life we should live, inshallah, after we die. But dunya is what we're living right now. And they are mentioned in Quran a lot. You'll find أنما الحياة الدنيا, الحياة الدنيا, because we have two حياة. In fact, we have two حياة. حياة we're living in dunya, and حياة which we are going to live in الآخرة, inshallah. That takes us to another word, Alaakhirah. Alaakhirah means the hereafter, the day or the life we live it after we die, then we're reborn again. That's called Alaakhirah. And it also could have another meaning, or it could be defined by another meaning or another word, which is Yawmul It's the definition of Alaakhirah. What's Yawmul Qiyamah? Yawmul is the day where we rise or gets up after the death, and then we go to see our direction or destination. Is it going to be in Al-Jannah or is it going to be in An-Nar? And it's mentioned also in Quran a lot. In life where we're living right now, there are lots of things. One of the things or the words we are facing in our life, something called Mussibah. Mussibah. This word is neutral. It means it is not something bad, it is not something good. Because Mussibah coming from the verb asaba. So Mussibah, whatever happens to you. But because most of the time this word has been used in the bad definition, when bad occurrence happens to you, this word has become bad. So when you have something bad happens to you, it's called Mussibah. Like death, like disease, like whatever accident, that's called, even losing something, it's called Mussibah. And we are required in Mussibah, whenever something happens to us, to say Allahumma ujurni fi musibati wakhlufni khayran minha. Means, I ask you, Allah, to give me something in return because of my Mussibah, and to replace me with something better than what you had taken from me or what you had punished me with. This is the meaning of it. In life we have many enemies. One of the most important and powerful enemy we have in life is called Ashshayttan. And that's a new word. Ashshayttan. And it's in all language, I guess, because in English it's called the devil or the Satan. Ashshayttan is number one enemy for the human being, or for Adam, because we are Banu Adam. Banu Adam means the descendant of Adam. Okay, that Adam is our father, the first father, and we are his sons. So we are Banu Adam. So the first enemy of Banu Adam is Ashshayttan. Ashshayttan, all the time, by the way, it's mentioned in Quran many times, by the way. And Allah all the time is threatening us and taking and making us take care of Ashshayttan and telling us about its powerful point and its weakness point. Not only this, but also Allah told us how to fight Ashshayttan. How? Easily by saying something small. What is it? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I ask Allah for refuge, or I ask Allah's protection from Ashshaytan al-Rajim. By the way, al-Rajim is an adjective describing Ashshaytan. Okay, because but it's hard word to be explained, by the way, but it is not important. Anyway, it's bad adjective describing Ashshaytan. So say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. We have another word. Let's say, if Shaitan had won and let us do something bad, this bad action, according to Islam, is called dhanb. Dhanb. What's dhanb? Whatever bad things that Allah had ordered us not to do, but we weakened and we did it, that's called dhanb. Okay? So, what should you do after dhanb? After dhanb, we made these bad things, comes the new word. It's called Tawbah. Tawbah. To repent. Repentance is to ask Allah for forgiveness. And Tawbah has conditions, by the way. Number one is to feel guilt. Number two is to know that you did it and you insist not to come to them again. Number three is to ask Allah to forgive it for you. This is called Tawbah. In life and in the hereafter, there are Almalae'kah. And that's a new word. Almalae'kah, it's plural, and the singular word is malak. Almalae'kah is the angels. Okay. The angels have many positions and they have many places. So Allah had appointed them to do certain jobs, some of them, and had given them many places. The most famous Malaika for us as Muslims are usually four. Number one, Jibreel, that was related to taking the message from Allah, giving the message to the prophets. And we have Mikael, and we have Israfil, and we have Azrael. And Israfil is the angel which is responsible for using the horn in the day of the resurrection, and using this horn to make a sound, to give the permission for everyone to rise up from the graves and from the tombs and go to the day of the resurrection. And Azrael is the angel which is responsible for taking lives from people. In life, we have a word which is called Alkitab. The literal meaning of this word is the book, but we're not going to use the literal meaning. Alkitab depends on, do you use it in a context which life is mentioned, or death, or hereafter is mentioned? Are you using it singular or plural? How? If the context is related to the life and you said Al-Kitab only without mentioning something before or after, that means Al-Quran, the Holy Quran. And if you're using it plural in the hereafter, in the life as well, it means the messages from Allah, generally the Christianity and the Judaism. So then the Quran, 3 books, because other books are not real, by the way. And we're not here discussing if the Bible or the Christianity book or the Jewish people book are good or not, fake or not, because this is not the time. Okay, what happens if you use this word in the hereafter? We'll say Al-Kitab. After you die, if the word is used in this context, it means your report of everything you did in your life. Everything is written, right, good, bad, you did this problem in this day, you did that in that day. That's called Al-Kitab. And it's mentioned in Quran also a lot. Speaking of angels taking lives, so we have the word Arrawh, which is literally translated into the soul. But according to the Islamic terminology, Arrawh, which is also still translated into soul, it is not actually defined. Even in Arabic, no one knows what soul is. But the only thing we know that when Arrawh is taken from the body, the person dies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. It means if anyone asks you, Muhammad, about Arrawh, the soul, tell them that this ruh, this soul, is a matter of Allah. No one knows what it is, how it is taken, how it is defined. No one knows anything about it. It's one of Allah's secrets. Okay, taking steps into the hereafter. In the way to the hereafter, we pass by many stations. One of these stops is Alih'tidhaar. Alih'tidhaar. Alih'tidhaar, I don't know, it is not in English because it's still an Islamic word. Alih'tidhaar means, from the Arabic word, you say this person is yuhtadar. That's the verb. It's generally could be passive and could be active. You say yahtadir or yuhtadar. Means the angel which is required for taking soul is now with the person at the time of death. And he is present, yahdir. This Azrael, this angel, now yahdir to this person who's going to die. So, since he is yahdir, so that's called ihtidhaar. The person who's going to die now is in the presence of the death angel. Is about to die. Comes after this, when just before the death comes another word called Sakaratul mawt. Sakarat al-mawt. Or you can say as-sakarat. And that's plural. In singular it's called sakra. In Quran also it's mentioned a lot. One of the very terrifying ayah in Quran called وَجَاءَتْ سَكْرَةُ الْمَوْتِ بِالْحَقِّ ذَلِكَ مَا كُنْتَ مِنْهُ تَحِيدٌ. Means now Allah is telling this dying person, now it's time for sakarat, for this death. And you were always, when you were powerful and living and human, you always thought or wanted to avoid this, but you can't. You will be facing that. No matter who you are, no matter what you could do, you are facing death and you're facing sakarat. Sakarat, as Muslims, we ask Allah most of the time to make it easy for us. And our Prophet gave us hadith to make dua to Allah to make this Sakaratul mawt easy, because Sakaratul mawt is very harmful feeling. Some people turn from Islam to be kafir in this time because they cannot take the power of Sakaratul mawt. It's the pain the person who is dying faces when he is going to die. That's Sakaratul mawt. After that comes a new word, death. Al-Mawt. Al-Mawt. And that's the separation between a life in Dunya and another life in Al-Akhirah. Al-Mawt is the line, is the separation, is the border between these two lives. All of us have the life in Dunya, Al-Dunya. All of us, everyone has Al-Dunya, and we explain that. But not everyone will have a good hayat fil akhirah, good life in al-akhirah, hereafter. It's called al-akhirah because that's called al-mawt. It's a separation. It starts once your life and ruh goes out of you. Here starts the journey of death. After that comes your house after death, the grave. Al-Qabr. Al-Qabr. Al-Qabr is your station or your stop or your residence after you die until Yawmul qiyamah. You stay in this place and then your body decayed and then turns into just some bones, and this bones also decays and becomes dust. That's in Al-Qabr. And the qabr is a level between this life and the life in Al-Akhirah. I spoke Arabic. This qabr could be part of Jannah, which we mentioned, or part of Nar. It depends on your actions in Al-Hayat, Addunya. According to this action, you are going to feel this qabr a part of Jannah, which you face all the blessing inside Al-Qabr, or a part of Nar. After that, with long time, but you don't feel it, comes on your word. Al-Ba'thh. Al-Ba'thh, resurrection. What's Al-Ba'thh? Al-Ba'thh is the process where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts the ruh again in the dead body and order it to rise up, to connect itself again from dust, then bones, then blood, then meat, then flesh, then human being, and stands up again after death. This is called Al-Ba'thh. Then after Al-Ba'thh comes a new step in our journey to Jannah or Nar. What's this? It's called Al-Hashr. Al-Hashr. Al-Hashr is a very terrifying word. It means the process where all these people, when they rise up, are pushed as crowds and walking towards the day of judgment. They are waiting in this place, day of judgment, or also, by the way, it's called Yawmul Yawmul has also the meaning of Yawmul. These people are pushed and walking in order to be judged in this day. Everyone is waiting to see where my destination is going to be. That's called Al-Hashr. And there is one complete surah. It's called Al-Hashr in Quran. And Quran has talked about all these things. So when you know the meaning of this, you will be more likely to understand those terms and those ayahs in Quran. Okay, now Al-Hashr has been done. What comes after? The new word Al-Hisab. Al-Hisab. And this word Al-Hisab literally has many meanings. It could be, for example, mathematics, the meaning of Al-Hisab. And if you use this word in trade, it could be accounting. And if you're using this word in a restaurant, it could be the bill. And if are you using this word, for example, with children, Hisab means calculation. But according to the Islamic terminology, Al-Hisab means the time where you stand in front of Allah, facing everything you did في الحياة الدنيا, in the life. And then you're asked about every tiny single detail. Even the atom of one action, you will be judged. Nothing will be passed, nothing will be forgotten. Except if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to forgive you something. That's up to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in general, everything you will be faced. Everything, all your actions will be put in front of you, and you're going to be facing Hisab. Why you did this? How you did this? Why didn't you do that? That's called Hisab. Allah is making Hisab with us. I hope our Hisab will be easy, inshallah. What's after? A very famous word, frightening word called As-Sirat. As-Sirat, okay, I don't know, actually, literally it means path. But this is very different definition in the Islamic terminology. As-Sirat, according to Hadith Sharif, is a place on Jahannam, on the fire, on the hell, like a way, very thin. In some books it says it's thinner than the hair, thinner than it. No one actually knows, but this sirat, we walk, all human beings walk in this sirat. If you are a good Muslim and you did what Allah asked you to do in Al-Hayat Addunya, this sirat will be easy for you. People's speed and passing on this sirat vary. Some of them, they go on sirat like lightning, some like thunder, and some goes like horses, and some crawl, and some fall. All this depends on your actions and what you have done in Hayat al-Dunya. So according to what you did in Hayat al-Dunya, your speed on the sirat will be determined. What after that? After that, you have two sides. We mentioned before Al-Jannah and An-Nar. Let's take first, if it's An-Nar, so you'll face new word. It's called Al-Adhab. Al-Adhab. What's Al-Adhab? It's called torturing. And whatever you've heard of torturing في الحياة الدنيا, it's nothing. Nothing compared to what you're going to face in the hereafter or Yawmul qiyamah or in An-Nar. If you calculated all the powerful people and you gathered them together and you let them find a way of torturing in this life, it's nothing compared to the lowest part of Al-Adhab in Yawmul qiyamah. We ask Allah to protect us from that, inshallah. Okay, what happens if you go to Jannah? Inshallah, we hope that. We have a new word, which is Al-Firdaus. What's Al-Firdaus? Al-Firdaus is the highest place and level of Jannah. The highest place in Al-Jannah is called Al-Firdaus. And our Prophet Muhammad told us, if you are asking Allah of Al-Jannah, ask him Al-Firdaus, because Allah is the most generous. You ask him for whatever you want, he could give it to you. I hope our episode today was useful. I hope we took some words that it could be of assistance and help for you. I hope I could clarify somehow some of the hard words in Islam. If you liked this video, share it and subscribe. Maybe other people could understand something about Islam, and maybe it could be your way to Jannah. Who knows? Until we meet in another time, take care of yourselves, and Assalamu alaikum.